Leg 9. Just a few miles back downriver from Bridgewater to anchor overnight off of Weagle Point, about 2 nautical miles. Leg 10. From Weagle Point downriver to the Have River Yacht Club, on secluded Pernette Cove, about 5 nautical miles. Leg 11. Sailing from LHYC to the beautiful rugged anchorage at Mosher's Island Sloop Cove, about 10 nautical miles. Having thoroughly enjoyed discovering Bridgewater, we left against the flooding tide. The river is tidal right up to town, and its buoyed channel easily accommodated our 5.5-foot draft. We went downriver only a few miles, where we stopped and anchored just off the main channel in 10 feet of water. We wanted to row ashore and explore an area of tall coniferous trees we'd seen on the eastern shore on our way upriver. Once ashore, we found the forest was interspersed with walking trails and is called Miller Park. Fortunately, we had anchored near half tide and the water's depth had increased while we were on shore. As the loons called, we put out our oil lamp in the rigging, only to be awakened by a terrific rain and thunderstorm in the wee hours of the morning. By dawn, the storm had moved on as we set out for the Have River Yacht Club, about 5 miles further downriver. LHYC is situated on the west side of the river in Pernette's Cove and offers visiting yachts, facilities, and a waterfront bar and restaurant. There are moorings for visitors, and on the dock is fresh water to fill your tanks as well as fuel. Should we put the cover on?
Sure.
Beside and behind the club is their yard, where they have haul-out and storage for club boats. They also offer a junior sailing program in the warm, protected waters of the river, and in the evening keelboats raced back and forth across the river's broad expanse.
No. That stainless chimney is not too old.
Across the road leading up to Bridgewater, or down to Lahaye, we found a gravel track entering the fragrant balsam fir forest, where we walked for several hours. Jayne sighted songbirds as we tried to identify the different types of trees, occasionally stopping to pick blueberries. Well, that was a nice little nature walk. Yeah, we saw lots of birds. We stayed a second day to relax, swimming in the warm afternoon and observing the shore and passing boats. Isn't that funny? They all came over here. They thought we'd have some treats for them. We rode to the club one last time, walking up the hill behind and then over to Pernette's Cove itself. Tomorrow would take us back down to the bakery. With an extra day in hand, we couldn't resist spending it around Lahaye and walking up the hill to the old schoolhouse and out to Dublin Shore. Dublin Shores on the mainland opposite West Spectacle, where we had anchored on our way up to Lahaye. It has a neat fishing harbour that could probably accommodate Fantasia and is near Crescent Beach in the open Atlantic.
Right. To shine on it. Yep. Once you're there.
Leaving the bakery, we swung east and crossed the river to the opposite point, where Covey Island Boatworks lies. There are a couple of coves, Ritchie and Creaser, that look good for anchoring, as well as the small waterfront town of Riverport, from which it's only a few minutes by road into Lunenburg. We set out for the Lahaye Islands, intending to negotiate Folly Channel between Coveys and Hurtle Islands, and then find a spot to anchor in False Lahaye.
Happy with where you are?
Yes, I am. I'm at 32 feet.
Uh-huh.
Wow, look at this little cutie pie. Flat on a gem.
Oh, it's beautiful here. Yeah, this little Gothic house is beautiful, eh? So that would be Hurtle Island. And two nice boathouses. Oh, and lots of boats too. Nice dory.
So we're only in 13, 12, 11. You want to have a look at the chart? We're in 8 feet of water.
Okay.
We looked at a couple of anchorages suggested in our cruising guides, but because the weather was very warm and settled, opted for the lee shore of Mosier Island, off of Sloop Cove. There was another yacht also anchored there with a couple on board, and we exchanged stories as we sat on the grey sand beach, watching our boats bob at anchor as the swells rolled in from the Atlantic. The water was cold but swimmable near shore. We were lucky and the conditions remained calm under a star-filled sky overnight.
Incredible.
The stars last night.